when I saw these pictures, I once again thought, my God, what has she done to herself?
I haven't had a date in a couple of weeks, and I looked at my son without thinking, and I said, do you have any friends you could introduce me to?
Did you kiss?
Of course.
No.
Of course.
You and Michael Jackson?
I mean, baby, I've been around.
Do you think that's better, just not to give them such a big...
I don't think it's better. It's just what I'm doing right now.
And why?
Because I want to.
Your fans will love the film, I think, but some people are going to find sections of it offensive.
Well, that's their problem, though.
You don't care?
No, of course not.
Madonna herself did not meet the adoption requirements that you need to adopt a child out of Malawi.
She was incredibly rude every time I met her, but I don't hold that against her.
Well, it sounds like you do.
So we've got some spicy drama brewing between Piers Morgan and Madonna. Again, you know Piers, never one to hold back his thoughts, recently took a jab at Madonna, calling her an old joke and poking fun at her ever-evolving and, let's be honest, sometimes bizarre looks.
Well, one of these standout moments for me at the Grammy Awards, not the actual awards themselves, but this, Madonna, looking like she got the wrong date for Halloween.
But here's where things get really interesting. Madonna, the queen of controversy herself, isn't just sitting back this time.
Madonna fans are not happy with Piers Morgan, calling him misogynistic and insensitive after making comments about the Queen of Pop on his talk TV show, Piers Morgan Uncensored.
For those not in the loop, Madonna has been involved in numerous eyebrow-raising moments over the years, from accusations of racism to various other controversies that have kept her name in the headlines.
It's definitely what she wrote. For me, things about the friends, and I've said this to that.
And let's not forget her uncanny ability to reinvent herself, often in ways that leave people scratching their heads. But this latest diss from Piers seems to have struck a nerve.
She's too old. She shouldn't be doing this shtick. It's all over. I'll be
So is she gearing up for a major clapback? Could something bad be on the horizon for Piers, considering Madonna's, shall we say, colorful history of dealing with critics?
A date in a couple of weeks, and I looked at my son without thinking, and I said, do you have any friends you could introduce me to?
Remember that time she publicly called out her detractors with a scathing social media post? Or when she used her music videos to send pointed messages to those who wronged her?
So I think that the timing's very good. It's a fantasy.
So what could she be planning now? A cryptic Instagram post? A surprise song release aimed directly at Piers? And here's a thought. What if this confrontation turns more intense than any of us anticipate? Could Piers face some serious backlash from Madonna's fiercely loyal fan base? The ones who rally to her defense at the drop of a hat?
Piers, when you were at CNN, you were known for banning celebrities.
Yes.
Yes, you were from the show. And I want to know who they were and why you banned them. Who were the top ones?
Madonna was always the first one I banned.
Why?
Or even more intriguing, could there be some kind of legal or professional repercussions headed his way? But wait, there's more. We all know Madonna isn't just any celebrity. She's a pop culture icon with connections in high places.
She's so incredibly annoying. And she, even down to
explain that.
Well, even down to the fake English accent she now has, which is especially irritating.
Could she be pulling some strings behind the scenes, enlisting the help of her A-list friends to put Piers in his place? Is there a coordinated takedown in the works?
I just find her one of these people that she seems to always want to shock and offend us, which is fine when you're like 22 if you're Miley Cyrus twerking.
What about that mysterious tweet she sent out late last night, full of cryptic emojis and a promise of justice? Could it be related to this feud?
It's a little bit awkward when you're 58 or whatever she is now.
Whoa. Why are you saying that?
And let's not forget Piers himself. He's no stranger to controversy and has a knack for turning any situation into a media spectacle.
Once again, I'm caught in the glare of ageism and misogyny that permeates the world we live in, a world that refuses to celebrate women.
Is he using this feud to boost his own ratings and keep his name in the news cycle? Could he be underestimating Madonna's potential to strike back harder than ever before?
These rock stars they get embarrassing when they keep stripping off and doing stupid things, I think.
So buckle up, because this feud might just be heating up to a whole new level of wild. What will Madonna's next move be? Will Piers double down or backtrack? And most importantly, who will come out on top in this clash of the titans? Grab your popcorn, because this saga is far from over. Historical instances have demonstrated that Hollywood often reacts negatively to artists who attempt to reveal its inner workings, sometimes resorting to threats. It appears that Madonna may be experiencing a similar situation.
Why this album now? I can't say why I'm writing this music right now.
everything that I do is a reflection of where my head is at.
Last year, Madonna found herself in an intensive care unit, battling sepsis. It's uncertain whether she witnessed her life flash before her eyes during that critical time. But on the second night of her long-awaited The Celebration tour, the audience were treated to a spectacle. Given the circumstances, her mere presence felt nothing short of miraculous. However, even if one were unaware of the challenges she had faced this summer, the enduring icon that is Madonna, spanning 4 decades and more, was a conclusion that The Celebration might have naturally led to. "To age is to sin," she shared towards the end of her 2-hour performance. Echoing sentiments first expressed after her receipt of Billboard's Woman of the Year award in 2016, "I think the most controversial thing I've done is to stick around." The phrase "stick around" seems rather understated when you reflect on what it encompasses. Madonna's endurance through the years includes controversies like accepting $5 million from Pepsi to launch Like a Prayer, with an ad that coincided with a video featuring her kissing a black Christ in front of burning crosses. It also involves the publication of her explicit fantasies in S, a work the Vatican condemned as morally deplorable. One of the central messages of The Celebration is to emphasize the superhuman triumph of will that Madonna's life represents.
It's not because I'm nervous. The sound is back on, I can breathe again. What is a concert without sound? I can't just get up here and twiddle my toes, right?
The early minutes of the performance make this abundantly clear, with a dizzying montage commencing with flyers and set lists from Madonna's early shows at New York's iconic Danceteria Club. Against the backdrop of the New York skyline at night, she delivers her debut single Everybody and Into the Groove, flanked by her ever-present dancers who wield torches. Some lines in certain songs might come across as mundane if sung by anyone else, but when Madonna utters, "Only when I'm dancing can I feel this free," it transports you to the heart of her foundational narrative. The dance floor as a place where outsiders can unite, redefine themselves, and begin anew. She momentarily chokes on a line and uses it as an opportunity to remind us that she can veer off script and stay on brand. Have you ever swallowed your own saliva? It happens when you're singing or sucking on something. Then a perfectly timed pause. Can I say bad words? Can I do naughty and provocative things? Madonna pays homage to her early struggles, confirming that the legendary tales of her living on $1 a day during her early days in New York City are indeed true. She shares that she embarked on the journey of becoming a musician and songwriting to ensure she would never have to return to Michigan as a failure.
So it's important to note that right now because there's a lot of really crazy things happening in the world that are so painful to witness.
The commencement of her Celebration tour, which showcases a career that effectively set the template for modern pop stardom, was shrouded in uncertainty. Madonna found herself in intensive care, and there were doubts from onlookers as to whether the 65-year-old icon would recuperate in time. Madonna herself shared these apprehensions. "I'm pretty damn surprised I made it this far," she said on the first night, and I mean that on many levels. However, her fans are quite concerned about her sudden hospitalization, and it is natural because lately she has been very outspoken about the industry. In a recent revelation, Madonna introduced a new look that has sparked a wave of jokes and ridicule within popular culture. Her altered appearance has become the primary subject of jokes, drawing the attention of notable figures such as Piers and several celebrities who have incorporated it into their live shows. In response, Madonna has taken the initiative to directly address those who have made fun of her new image, adopting a confrontational stance in the face of this wave of mockery.
The act doesn't play when you're in your mid-60s.
Would you have been outraged if Mick Jagger was doing that?
I have
in the same way? I mean,
he doesn't do what she does.
Yeah.
Piers Morgan, renowned for his outspoken commentary on various individuals, recently found himself in the midst of a controversy that attracted widespread negative attention and culminated in a direct clash with Madonna, with whom he has had a long-standing feud. Morgan's recent comments were directed at Madonna's appearance during Grammy Awards week, and they adopted a derogatory tone by likening her looks to a Halloween costume while making distasteful observations. This incident isn't the first of its kind, as just last year, he criticized Madonna's dominatrix-style outfit at the VMAs, even going so far as to suggest that her purse required chainsaws to be opened, a comment related to her substantial wealth.
Is now become the most grotesque train wreck embarrassment in the history of world entertainment.
While it may appear that their conflict is a recent occurrence, the origins of their feud stretch back over decades. And it all began with an unexpected incident involving a simple bread roll.
All you troublemakers out there, you need to know that your fearlessness...
The roots of their feud can be traced back to the 1990s, but it reached a boiling point in 2001 during celebrity chef Marco Pierre White's 40th birthday celebration, which both of them attended. During the event, Madonna, accompanied by her then-husband Guy Ritchie, reportedly took offense at the comedic routine of the late comic Bernard Manning. This incident prompted Piers to escalate the situation, eventually culminating in him throwing a bread roll at Madonna. During an interview, Morgan told a magazine, "Madonna is pretty awful. She never forgave me for throwing a bread roll at her at Marco Pierre White's birthday. She was just being really obnoxious, not just to me, but generally. There was only 40 of us at this dinner party, and she got annoyed because Bernard Manning started being offensive, and that wound her up. I just picked up a bread roll and chucked it at her." The history of friction between Piers and Madonna extends back many years, and their relationship has consistently been anything but harmonious during that time. Even before Piers took on the hosting role for Piers Morgan Tonight in January 2011, he had publicly characterized Madonna as a source of irritation in his life for 2 decades. He made it clear that the only way he would entertain the idea of having her as a guest on his show was if she publicly apologized to him on live CNN. Though he refrained from detailing the specifics of his grievances, he alluded to a series of incidents that had occurred between them. When pressed about the nature of these events, he vaguely mentioned that a few things have gone down between Madonna and himself, indicating a persistent undercurrent of unresolved tension.
Beautiful, I don't mind.
In your 60s.
Piers maintained that he and Madonna had never discussed the bread roll incident, hinting at another episode related to a pub managed by his brother Rupert, which was owned by Madonna's former husband, Guy Ritchie. Furthermore, Piers expressed his belief that Madonna's team had intentionally obstructed his endeavors.
That was about 40 years ago, and neither of us have aged particularly well. I would argue I've aged slightly better than Madonna.
In 2016, Piers expressed strong disapproval of Madonna's appearance in a carpool karaoke segment on James Corden's The Late Late Show. He specifically took offense at a clip in which she engaged in twerking and shared an anecdote about having kissed Michael Jackson. Then, in May 2019, when Madonna was spotted wearing a daring outfit, he publicly criticized her as shameless and labeled her an attention seeker. Piers referred to her decision to wear an all-black ensemble that covered her from head to toe as incognito and accused her of showing disrespect to Muslims, articulating his opinions through his Mail Online column. An angry Piers said she knew exactly what she was doing because it's the same thing she's been doing for 40 years, shameless attention-seeking. Only this time when I stopped laughing at the headlines, I suddenly realized that her latest publicity-grabbing move wasn't actually very funny at all. It was actually grotesquely offensive. Despite Piers Morgan's frequent criticisms of Madonna, his admiration for her becomes apparent in his response to a critic. In August 2020, a critic mentioned that they had never followed Piers but made a distinction between thinking something is over and having it under control. In response, Piers highlighted that he had 3 times as many followers as Madonna. However, the following month, when Madonna announced her intention to prioritize her music, Piers reignited his ongoing feud with her. He characterized her as pathetic and embarrassing, while also taking a swipe at her association with Robbie Williams.
Madonna taken with a long lens camera by a press photographer that would distort anyone's face. Once again, I'm caught in the glare of ageism and misogyny.
Piers Morgan acknowledged that during the time when Madonna released Holiday, she was undeniably the premier global pop star. However, in the present day, he expressed a sense of disappointment when observing her. According to him, the prevailing sentiment is that Madonna's current status is perceived as pathetic. He alluded to the upcoming biopic and suggested that this perception has become more widespread. Piers also commented that Madonna's approach to aging seems to lack grace, as she appears to be attempting to mirror the age of her boyfriends. His focus on Madonna isn't limited to the past, as he also criticized her when she announced her Celebration World Tour, describing the announcement as indicative of being a hot mess.
I think she is an absolute joke.
Piers wrote on Twitter, "I think Madonna's become the biggest cringe-making fiasco in world entertainment. We'll debate that tonight." During his television talk show, Piers Morgan didn't hold back his opinions about Madonna, firmly asserting that she should step aside from the limelight. He criticized her attempts to portray herself as an S symbol, even as she's in her 60s, suggesting that she's pushing boundaries beyond what's appropriate. In one episode, he showcased a series of explicit photos shared by Madonna on social media, including one where she was captured lying beneath a bed, revealing her bare backside. Following this, Piers voiced his belief that Madonna had reached a low point in her career. He went on to propose that she should opt for her arena performances while seated in a rocking chair, implying that he believed her time in the spotlight had passed.
For acknowledging my ability to continue my career for 34 years in the face of blatant misogyny, sexism, constant bullying.
Piers Morgan's actions have indeed sparked a substantial wave of backlash, with criticism coming from various quarters. Some individuals have accused him of making misogynistic and overly harsh comments about Madonna. In certain instances, his behavior has been labeled as obsessive and fixated, particularly regarding his actions towards Madonna. One of the netizens wrote, "Appreciate Piers for speaking on behalf of rest of the world that's not delusional. Also can't believe people took kids to this madness." Another one added, "I'm a woman and agree wholeheartedly with Piers. Having such terrible facial surgery is quite frankly disgusting, but for some incredibly strange reason seems very popular in the States. I know loads of women that agree with me and we are allowed to have an opinion. Growing old gracefully with class is so much more S." The recent wave of backlash isn't a reaction to Piers Morgan's previous actions, but is instead a response to his recent comment about Madonna's appearance at the Grammy Awards. Madonna sported a noticeably more youthful look during the awards ceremony, with plumper lips and smooth, wrinkle-free skin. In his usual bold fashion, Piers uploaded a close-up photo of Madonna along with the caption, "I thought Halloween was in October." This comment ignited the current backlash.
There were very few people I had to clap back at because life was simpler then. When I first moved to New York.
During a confrontation with comedian James Barr on his television talk show, Piers made a bold assertion that Madonna had undergone facial surgery. He also pointed out that he frequently receives criticism from Madonna's fans, including fat-shaming comments. Even among Piers' own supporters, there's a growing sense that he might be going too far, especially given Madonna's consistent lack of response throughout this one-sided feud. Nevertheless, Madonna indirectly responded by sharing images and clips featuring herself alongside stars like Sam Smith, Kim Petras, and Cardi B. This action was seen as a defiant response to her detractors, without directly engaging in the feud.
All these unexpected events not only helped me become the daring woman that stands before you.
But do you think Piers has called her out without any reason? Well, there are some reasons he might have considered. Madonna has been making waves in recent headlines due to some concerning allegations, finding herself in quite a bit of trouble these days.
Madonna herself did not meet the adoption requirements that you need to adopt a child out of Malawi. Madonna bullied Malawian officials.
Madonna is currently under investigation for some grave allegations. She's facing accusations of involvement in HT concerning her own children. These youngsters were adopted from Africa under circumstances that are raising serious concerns. Reportedly, Madonna leveraged her financial resources to persuade these families to part with their children. Disturbingly, these families assert that she pledged to reunite them with their children, but failed to uphold that promise.
I have no idea why it has taken this long for Madonna and all of her charities to be investigated for this.
People have a long list of questions, including why did she never return those children? This report is undeniably sensational. The renowned American pop icon Madonna, often dubbed the Queen of Innovation, is now facing allegations of exploiting both Malawian authorities and the country's most vulnerable children through her orphanage, Raising Malawi. Notably, the Ethiopian World Federation in the start of the year petitioned Malawian President Lazarus Chakwera to investigate homos and transgender allegations over the adoption of the Malawian children for possible human and social experiments. Media reports suggest that the Ethiopian World Federation is urging President Lazarus Chakwera to take precautionary measures by limiting Madonna and her associates' access to Africa and African children. The investigation said her and her associates' accessibility to Africa and to African children as a precautionary measure until a thorough investigation is done into child S. Exploitation, S. Slavery, adoption reversal, threat of coercion, fraud, deception, and power or vulnerability. This request comes as a response to concerns about alleged CT gender exploitation, S. Slavery, adoption reversals, threats of coercion, fraud, deception, and potential power or vulnerability. The call is for these actions to be thoroughly investigated before any further access is granted.
Madonna of and exploiting African children using her charity.
While it's essential to uphold the principle of innocent until proven guilty, certain aspects of Madonna's past raise concerns about her suitability to be in the proximity of children, let alone having the opportunity to influence them. The petition alludes to Madonna's 1992 book, S, which contained explicit adult content including softcore and simulations of S acts, including sadomasochism.
We got a lot of stuff on this woman, and she need to be exposed like everybody else.
The petition further says the psychology behind her ability to release child religious imagery, bestiality, and vulgar has prompted her to open an orphanage in Malawi named Raising Malawi in 2006 to host social experiments on vulnerable African children in Malawi. The petition highlights that Madonna's book, S, published in 1992, featured explicit photographs involving gay engaging in explicit acts with her, which it claims should have been disclosed during her 2006 adoption case in Lilongwe, Malawi. It is noted that Madonna had to sign an agreement that prohibited the inclusion of images involving child P, bestiality, or religious imagery in the book.
This isn't even the first time Madonna has been accused, or there has been calls for her to be investigated for child.
However, it's worth mentioning that shortly after signing this agreement, Madonna established Maverick, a company in partnership with Time Warner. This gave her complete artistic control over all Maverick's releases, including the book, rendering the prior agreement with Time Warner regarding the book's explicit content null and void.
Unlike European cultures, it's, is made into a dirty thing, a taboo subject, and so of course people are even more interested in knowing about it and reading about it.
Allegations have emerged suggesting that Madonna is being accused of exploiting her own son David Banda for S purposes and subjecting him to social experiments. Online sources now showcase numerous photos of David Banda, at times dressed as a woman, adorned with makeup and jewelry, and posing alongside a woman in a manner that could be misconstrued as intimate. Justice Fiona and Whale, who presided over the adoption application, is quoted in the group statement as saying, "In determining her motives, I question the petitioner at length about the impact of her decision, which could be construed as robbing Malawi of its most precious resource, its children." In 2013, Malawi made accusations against Madonna, asserting that she had overstated her contributions to the impoverished country and made excessive demands for special treatment during a tour there. Additionally, Madonna has utilized social media to criticize the culture and policies in place in Malawi, particularly those aimed at safeguarding children on a global scale. It's noteworthy that in the past, Madonna also made comments implying that her adopted son from Malawi looked better than her in her outfits.
He is, right? He's got something. He's got it.
Something?
He's athletic. He's a good-looking dude.
Put on any outfit and look swag as, what.
Yeah.
In 2006, Madonna generated significant controversy by arriving in the East African country on a private jet, bypassing regular procedures, and leveraging her fame, wealth, and privilege to gain access to Malawian orphanages with the intention of adopting Malawian children. In response, the Human Rights Consultative Committee submitted a motion to ensure that Madonna's adoption process adhered strictly to the legal requirements and procedures in place.
This is a court order, and a court order cannot be tampered with. I am standing in for the child as a guardian ad litem, and as such, we cannot repress.
Despite the challenges and criticism she faced, Madonna, often seen as the American queen of innovation, appeared to believe that she was exempt from Malawi's regulations and found a way to bypass them. It's crucial to note that Malawi's Adoption of Children Act is designed to apply equally to all individuals, regardless of their social status or financial resources, who are considering the adoption of a child.
Madonna herself did not meet the adoption requirements that you need to adopt a child out of Malawi.
Her fans and supporters were also disappointed in her for doing such obscene actions. Moreover, a supporter of children's rights emphasizes the importance of procedures in place to reduce instances of child and prevent the unnecessary separation of children from their parents. These rules are put in place to safeguard children's well-being.
In other ways, in the local legal jargon, I'm the witness to the whole process.
Interestingly, Madonna, despite being under investigation for matters related to child adoption, has positioned herself as a champion of Black equality. She showed her support for the Black Lives Matter movement by attending a protest in 2020, even while on crutches. So it somehow sums up that Madonna is so powerful that he can even bring Piers down. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.